What's up?
It's because I can breathe again.
So for y'all checking us out on YouTube, you can see I wasn't ready for that one. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing out there? We're glad to be back for our third episode on the camera. For all of y'all listening out here in the podcast world, we want to welcome you back as well. My bad, I should be looking at the camera. Marion's feeling himself today, but that's like an everyday kind of thing, so...
Confidence is key, and I usually am a confident individual. Even if I'm feeling down, I'm still confident.
I'm pretty much the same way, too. And for y'all who are new to us, there's layers to it. For y'all who are not new to us, welcome back. We appreciate the love every single time.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I don't know if y'all can tell, but we have a pretty decent theme of this episode, and it is the NBA. National Basketball Association.
I thought you were about to say the Lions for some reason.
Don't put me on that. So we have a special little NBA season, off-season starting for you.
Yeah, everything started on yesterday. So the trades started yesterday. The
NBA draft is tomorrow, Wednesday the 18th.
Yes, and then...
Well, technically for y'all out there, it would be the day before this video came out.
Or just whenever you watch it at your leisure. I mean, it really doesn't matter.
You should definitely finish watching this video because we're going to drop a lot of important information on you. We're going to be covering trades that have already happened. You're going to get our reactions to them. So I found an article on ESPN Plus that has 7 major NBA trade rumors that might go down over the course of the next couple days. And Marion hasn't read this list yet, so I'm going to get his live reaction on it for you guys. So that should be pretty exciting.
What happens tomorrow in the... Not tomorrow, Friday.
Is that free agency?
Yes.
Free agency starts up
free agency starts on Friday.
In the next couple days.
Thing. I knew it was just every other day. I just couldn't remember what the last thing was.
No, this free agency is not going to be as good as 2021. But...
Unless John leaves. I'm pretty sure he's not anymore.
We're going to see what happens. So we got a pretty intriguing episode for you guys today. Please make sure you like, share, subscribe with all your friends. We want to try and continue to grow our channel out here, and we're going to keep producing great content for you guys. So without further ado, let's get into this episode. There's layers to it. Let's start breaking down these layers.
You kicked the shit out of that camera.
I kicked the chair that's in front of us, and I feel so bad for you guys. How are you feeling about Chris Paul becoming a Phoenix Sun?
Well, I just want to address the fact that a team that made it to the playoffs last year is rebuilding.
Yeah, they were the 5 seed last year.
Right. They got in there. It wasn't just like we stumbled into the 8th seed, or we had to fight our way to the 7th seed. No. They had a firm grip, in that top 5 spot. And they're rebuilding?
Yes. But, I mean, if you really look at it, at the composition of that team, you had Chris Paul, you have Steven Adams, and you have a lot of younger talent on that team.
Which I feel...
And, I mean, you add a young player in Kelly Oubre, you add Ricky Rubio, who was a top overall pick, who never really worked out. But he is a really good distributor of the basketball. The other 2 people in this trade, I've never really heard of them, so I don't know what's going on. So, yeah, you get some young players, and you have a lot of draft capital moving forward.
Because
You also
they
got rid
could
of
trade
Chris
those
Paul.
they could trade those picks and get somebody else.
Yeah, you never know what they're gonna do. They could expedite their rebuild at any time because
Right.
of the amount of draft capital they have. You can use that. Draft assets in the NBA are valuable commodities, which some big draft trades might happen on Wednesday. So
Yeah, I think
we're
so. Because I
definitely
mean,
excited for that one.
it's
Looking
it's
forward later in the video.
it's possible, and I think it's gonna happen. But going back to Chris Paul and that trade, I think I I hate to say this, but I don't think this makes the Suns like a championship contender, even though Chris Paul's on that team.
Okay, I 100% team, and I agree. So why does Chris Paul not make this team a championship caliber team?
Is he going to provide leadership to the younger individuals that were already in Phoenix? Yes. Will he? Because, I mean, what he did in OKC, he made Shai Gilgeous-Alexander look like an amazing basketball player.
I don't think you should put the disrespect of that sentence on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander because I believe he's actually going to be a good basketball player.
Do you think he would have developed as much as he did if he didn't have Chris Paul in him that quick with him that quickly?
No, I think you definitely needed
That's what I'm
Chris
saying.
Paul to have that guidance to bring him up to the caliber of play that he had during the playoffs and the season last year.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if Chris Paul wasn't on that Oklahoma City Thunder, number one, they would not be the 5th seed. Let's get that straight right now. Number two, they wouldn't even be in playoff contention. Hell, they'd probably be the number 1 pick this season. Who the fuck's leading that team? Steven Adams?
Yes? No? I don't know. But I'm hearing that Steven Adams might get traded. It'd be an interesting thing to see happen.
Dude, without Chris Paul, that team is... I don't want to say they're complete shit because there's a lot of good players. And like you said, Shai he was up and coming. But with Chris Paul on that team and Chris Paul mentoring him and Dennis Schroeder, because we can't forget about him either, which I guess we'll talk about him in a little bit, their growth was excelled at least ×2 because Chris Paul was on there. You've got that veteran there who's able to give you that guidance and that leadership that you didn't have before.
See, and that's my big thing about this trade. Like, I love this trade. Chris Paul to the Phoenix Suns is amazing.
It's an amazing trade, but they're not going to win a championship.
No, I don't think they're going to win a championship, but I definitely think this puts them from being a bubble playoff team to being that 5 or 6 seed, maybe even creeping into a 4 seed, because one, Chris Paul, as you saw last year, still has a ton in the tank. He single-handedly led that team, developed a lot of talent, and if you're looking for a young team to develop, the Phoenix Suns is a great team to go to. You have Devin Booker, who is one of the best scorers in the NBA.
Hands down.
Should be a Detroit Piston. Go back and listen to our podcast. You should fire everybody on the Detroit Pistons from the draft and cover what we went over in there. We'll put it in the description below. But let me get back on this. So the Phoenix Suns, you got Devin Booker, young guy, great scorer, great leader of the team.
Trash.
Then you have DeAndre Ayton, who was one of their number 1 overall picks. I don't exactly remember where he went, but I know he was top 5. So that's a top 5 overall draft pick at the center position, which Chris Paul has had a lot of success playing with good big men. Now, I know it didn't lead him to any playoff wins, but he has had good years with him. So I'm excited for the trade, obviously. So I'm excited to see DeAndre Ayton's development. I want to see Devin Booker get even better. I want to see Chris Paul be the main distributor of that offense. I'm really excited.
I wish Kelly Oubre could have stayed on that team somehow, because if Kelly was on that team,
he's a great shooter to have on that team.
I would have been more confident saying that they could make a run, but even still, they would meet up with the Lakers, and that'd be it. Legit.
Very legit. So we're going to keep it in the Western Conference as we transition into the next trade that went down. And this one isn't as big, but the Portland Trailblazers, they acquire Robert Covington for Trevor Ariza and 2 first-round picks. So
I feel so bad for Robert Covington. My God, his family just can't stay in one place. He just, Minnesota. All right, now you're going to Houston. Now he's going, man.
well, at least Portland's not that far away.
I mean, it's not that far away, but you still gotta, like...
It is that far away, but it's not that far away. It's still on the West Coast.
You don't have a steady home like someone, like another mainstay
don't forget
player
he was in
would.
Philly, too. He's been
I forgot
all
about
over the
Philly
United
too.
States.
Yeah, man. And it's not like he's a bad player.
I just don't understand how you acquire Trevor Ariza and 2 first-round picks on this deal. I feel like people are trading away their first-round picks like some candy that they just don't think is that
like
good.
Oprah, man.
Yeah, like
oh
everyone's like, you get a first-round pick, you get a first-round pick, you get a first-round pick, you get a first-round pick.
My mama got a first-round pick.
I bet she won't waste that like the Detroit Pistons has.
Nope.
Detroit Pistons have. My bad, guys. Very bad English. That's bad English there, too. I need to provide better for y'all. Just like the Trailblazers need to provide better for Damian Lillard, because this Robert Covington really doesn't help them out. It doesn't make them a better team. It doesn't put them over the hump. It doesn't get them better than where they were. They're in the same position they just were.
No, but
except now they have Robert Covington.
You need someone else who's going to score points. At a certain point, the Trailblazers were just like, if it wasn't Dame or CJ, it was
they
literally...
They didn't have anybody.
They didn't have anyone else.
If Robert Covington can shoot, he does give you that aspect of the game. He's also a
you
pretty solid defender.
Most people are going to be guarding Dame anyway, or trying to double team him, or if CJ's on, then they're going to try and double team CJ. Like, eventually he's going to get left open, and I think that's where being in Portland does help him.
Yeah, but he's not a guy... Look, I just pulled up his stats, right? He's a guy who averages 12.7 points a game. He's going to give you 40% from the field, and then add in another 5 to 6 rebounds a game, which is really good.
It's better than nothing.
It's good production to be a role player in the NBA, which is exactly what he is.
He's consistent.
And so that just makes this trade just like... It's a swap. Houston's obviously trying to unload, and we'll get more into the rumors of their big two, Westbrook and Harden, later, and where they might be going. So make sure you all stay tuned. But for now, we're going to talk about probably the second biggest trade so far that's going on, and that is Drew Holiday to the... Drew Holiday to the Bucks for Eric Bledsoe, George Hill, and 3 first-round draft picks.
And 2 player swaps.
2 draft pick swaps, right?
No, player swaps.
Player swaps.
That's what it said.
Player swaps. I'm not sure what... you mean pick swaps?
Pick swaps,
Pick swaps. All right, so we got 2 pick swaps. We got 3 first-round. And...
That's a lot. That's a lot.
I like Bogdanovich. I think he's a great addition to the team.
Well, hold on, you didn't say Bogdanovich. You said the first one. That was a separate trade.
Oh, my bad. See, I'm jumping in. I'm so excited. I want to talk about these Bucks trades together. So
drunk.
You see, hold on, guys. In my notes, I have them right next to each other. In my notes, they're right next to each other. Normally, in my note-taking, I'll have spaces in between different things, but because it was the same team, same trades, well, not the same trades, but same topic.
Yeah, explain it to him.
I had it
Break
together.
it down. Break down the layers to him real quick.
My bad. So, now that I've already mentioned it, the Bucks also acquired...
Oh, man. Go ahead.
I need you to get yourself together.
I need you to get it together. I'm fine. I'm doing all right. Oh, man.
All right, so I'm sorry, guys. So the Bucks also acquired Bogdan Bogdanovich. I'm sorry, I never really learned how to pronounce his name.
Or Boban Marjanovic. Isn't there there's
another
a Bogut?
yes,
Something?
there's another Bogdanovich out there. He just plays for
I thought it was Bogut.
He was on the Pacers, and then
I don't know.
It's another white guy who can shoot threes and defend. I mean, he's a great addition to the Milwaukee Bucks. He gives them offense.
From over there somewhere.
But all they gave up was Nate DiVincenzo, Iran Ilyas. No, I'm sorry. Ersan Ilyasova. Let me get his name right for you guys out here. They also gave up DJ Wilson. Shout out to him, University of Michigan. But with the addition of Drew Holiday and
Bogdanovich. They had him
on
the team?
Yeah, he was just riding on the bench.
Oh.
But with the addition of Drew Holiday and Bogdanovich, I think the Bucks can take that next step that they were expected to take in this past season, but that they never did.
Until they run into Kevin Durant.
I don't know if they could hear you.
It doesn't matter.
Okay. Don't worry, guys. If y'all run into Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and maybe a little possibility of James Harden on that team too, if y'all want to, we'll get into that in just a little bit too. But back to the Bucks. So I believe that these two trades make the Bucks really good contenders. I know they were already the 1 seed. I think they will not lose to a team in the East this year in the playoffs. I think they will finally take that next step, represent the East in the finals. I think Giannis takes another step of development. I'm really intrigued to see what the Milwaukee Bucks have to do for us next season.
They're gonna make it to the conference finals, but they're gonna meet Slim Reaper, and it's gonna be a wrap. Because you can't. 2 of those individuals that are on. Oh, excuse me. If that trade theoretically does go through, you have 3 individuals who have already been in either conference finals or finals already, so they have that experience.
I will give you my update on that when that trade, or if that trade actually goes through.
But hold on, let's just say for the sake of just leaving that part out, even if it's just KD and Kyrie, still with Spencer Dinwiddie, still with Karis LeVert, still with DeAndre Jordan, who's still Jared Allen, who has been known to not he doesn't handle Giannis, but he'll pack the fuck out of him if he needs to. And will do. Because if they put DeAndre Jordan and Jared Allen in there at the same time, Giannis is not getting to that rim at all. And he can't shoot threes. So he's neutralized yet again. That's why you have the other individuals, and you need to hope that they won't do what I was saying last year and actually just keep feeding the ball to Giannis and just hope that he can get through the defenses and actually have him be more of a facilitator and try and get everybody involved.
Because these additions definitely help improve their offense. They were missing a lot of that because they let Malcolm Brogdon go.
Right.
And he was he was a critical aspect to that team 2 years ago that was making that run before they ran into Kawhi Leonard. But like I said, I love the addition of these 2 people to this team. I think I will put them over the top, so I'm excited to see where they go.
I'm excited to see what they do during the regular season too, because their regular season is already good, right? I think that they could possibly do what the Warriors did. I really think so. And if they have that type of momentum on their side, I would go ahead and say, yeah, they're going to the NBA Finals.
Well, just to make a little transition out of that, we talked a little bit about the Nets. We talked a little bit about KD and how they might be getting somebody. Well, they actually did make a trade. Now, this is a small trade, and the only reason I'm bringing this up is because it included our hometown team here, the Detroit Pistons. Shout out to Troy Weaver, the new GM. Hopefully, he can bring us into relevance again. I'm excited. But his first move as the Pistons general manager, he traded Bruce Brown to the Brooklyn Nets for a second round pick. And I forget the player's name. Again, I had a mishap in my notes and I didn't put the name down.
He just wasn't that important. So we're just gonna leave his name as the other individual.
Well, this other individual, he is now on our team. I just know he was a part of the trade. That's really it.
That's it. That's it. Nothing special.
I don't know really why we traded Bruce Brown. Yeah, it's nice to get a second round pick.
I feel like we could have used him though.
We could have used him. He's a good defensive guard. I think he brought a lot of tenacity and a lot of drive to the team. I'm sad to see him go. Does it really matter to me in the end of the day? No, because would he have been here long term? Probably not.
So he was gonna leave anyway.
There's also a lot of rumors going around today with the Pistons linked with bigger things. So I will be truly excited come draft night, which will be the future to me, but the past to y'all. So I will be super excited to see what the Pistons do. Unfortunately, I don't believe they are going to make the big splash that we all hope for.
Who, the Pistons?
Correct.
No, that's what you hope for.
Yeah, that's what I hope for. I want them to make a splash. I want them to trade for a better draft pick than number 7. I want them to get number 1, number 2, number 3. I want them to go make that move.
I want Buddy Hield to go to the Mavericks, but we all want a lot of things in this world.
That would be an interesting one for sure. That would be really interesting. So now that we've covered all the trades that have happened to the entirety so far of the 2 days that trades have been available.
I'm surprised that there really hasn't been that many more.
There's been a lot of rumors.
Yeah, everyone's been flapping their gums, but only a few have been about it, like the Spurs and OKC. But other than that, nobody's really it's just talk.
It's all just talk.
It's just all talk.
So, without further ado, let's jump into this ESPN Plus list that I have here.
Oh, we forgot about the damn Lakers.
The Lakers? Haha, we totally did. So, Dennis Schroeder is now a Los Angeles Laker.
And all they traded
was Danny Green in a first-round pick?
That's all you had to do to get the sixth man of the year? Or one of...
I would do it, because Danny Green went MIA.
Right, and you know that Dennis Schroeder isn't...
And it's not like your first-round pick is going to be a low first-round pick. It's going to be a high, 24 to 30, and we all know 24 to 30 in the NBA draft isn't really worth much.
You may find a diamond in the rough, but it's very, very, very rare. The most of them are just role players or benchmen.
And then you might find somebody who's out of the year into 3 years.
Right. They just get their little money and just going on. Or they just can't cut it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why you trade those and get top-end talent, which is why all these teams do what they do.
Yeah.
So now that we've been hinting a few trades, hinting a few big rumors, I want to get into this list. It's by the NBA insiders, and the very first trade would include the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Washington Wizards. So the Minnesota Timberwolves would receive Bradley Beal.
And why the fuck is everyone trying to trade Bradley Beal?
The Washington Wizards.
Oh my god.
So the Washington Wizards would get the number 1 pick in the 2020 draft. They would get James Johnson, Jarrett Cole. He's a 3-and-D defensive guy.
Okay.
He can shoot the ball pretty decently, though. Then you got Jarrett Culver and Jake Layman. Jake Layman I haven't heard of. Jarrett Culver is I believe he's a power forward out of Texas A&M or Texas Tech, one of the two. Texas Tech, I just checked it out. Oh no, our light died, guys. Sorry. We apologize.
I'm still gorgeous anyway. It don't matter.
We both are.
Facts.
Big facts. So, is this a trade that you would actually enjoy seeing in the NBA?
I want Bradley Beal to just stay where he is.
I keep kicking this damn camera.
I want Bradley Beal to stay with the Wizards. I just want John Wall to come back and so that they can play together. Because I feel like when Bradley Beal was there, he was a really good player, right? But he's not. He's an all-star right now. Let's just call it what it is. He's a whole-ass all-star. And he got snubbed this season. Or this past season. There's no way that Bradley Beal should have not have been in that all-star game. But I want them to actually play together. Because how long has John Wall been out of the league for?
I think he's been injured the past 2 years.
So it's been 2 whole years and Bradley Beal's been able to develop. And they still had some chemistry with each other. And John Wall is coming off of an Achilles. But that doesn't matter because Bradley Beal was leading the team by himself. You get John Wall back, they go from not making the playoffs to contention, I feel. But I feel like it would be good for the Minnesota Timberwolves because they already have Karl Anthony Towns and D'Angelo Russell on that team. You add Bradley Beal on there, they're a serious contender. A real serious contender, I feel.
I don't think adding Bradley Beal to the Timberwolves does anything to that team. I don't think they make the playoffs.
I think they do.
All the respect to Bradley Beal.
I think they do.
I just don't think the Timberwolves are that good.
I got you, dog.
I personally.
The Timberwolves are not good, but if they get Bradley Beal, they'll be above, not above average, but they'll just be average. They'll be competing.
I'm just against this trade because I don't want to see Bradley Beal play in Minnesota. I don't really have anything else on that trade. It just doesn't really matter to me.
I think if you put Karl Anthony Towns, D'Angelo Russell, and Bradley Beal on the same team, that's just 2K right there.
That doesn't excite me.
That could turn into 2K real quick.
That doesn't excite me at all.
That excites me. D'Angelo Russell's a snitch, though.
Don't snitch, guys. Fuck
you, Diego.
Not bad. We just gonna move on to the next one after that. And Marion's getting way too hostile. So the next one on this list involves the number 2 overall pick in Wednesday night's draft with the Golden State Warriors. And they would be shipping that pick, Andrew Wiggins, and Kevon Looney to the Detroit Pistons for Blake Griffin.
Red.
That's it. He just left me on red for that one. Personally, I got mixed feelings on this. If you know who I am and you know my feelings, I'm not a huge Blake Griffin guy. I never have been. I hated the trade that we gave.
I hate Blake Griffin now because of him. This is your fault. I loved Blake Griffin before he got here, and then you convinced me, and I'm like, oh my God, we messed up. I love you, Blake Griffin, but damn, we need you to leave Detroit now.
Personally, I'd love to get Blake Griffin out of here. I'd love the number 2 overall pick, whether it be Edwards or Ball.
You want
LaMelo or Anthony Edwards. I would love either of them.
I'd rather have
a top-end prospect guard. I'd love either of them for the Detroit Pistons.
Oh, little side note. Do you know where Cole Anthony is ranked in all of this? Because he's going to be in that draft this year. Yeah, he is.
I don't think he's that good.
What?
I don't think he's that good.
All right, we're just going to brush past that because somebody's a hater.
It'll be interesting, but like I said, I really want to see the Pistons do something big. If it's not the number 2 pick, try and get the number 3 pick, try and do something, try and make a splash. If you can move the Blake Griffin contract, I love it. Getting Andrew Wiggins in return, he's okay. It's Andrew Wiggins. I don't really know what else to say about him.
What do you mean it's just Andrew Wiggins? Andrew Wiggins is he's a really good basketball player.
I'll give you a good basketball player.
I think he's a really good basketball player.
Good. Is he worth paying the money that will eventually pay him in the later end of his contract? Absolutely not. So that's the only downfall to that.
With all of these trades to Detroit, I'm not expecting anyone to stay, is the thing. The only one who probably will stay if he's here long enough is Blake Griffin. Other than that, no one else is going to want to stay here. They haven't stayed here before. Why would they start now?
I don't disagree with you at all on that one. This next pick that we have in this one is not really that big. It's just the Golden State Warriors would be receiving Mitchell Robinson in the number 8 pick from the New York Knicks. In return, the Knicks would receive the number 2 overall pick. I think that's just a terrible trade. They shouldn't do it.
That's a horrible trade.
Mitchell Robinson isn't good, so that's really all we got to say for that one.
If this is RJ Barrett, I'm more comfortable with that trade.
But you won't get RJ Barrett out of that.
You're not getting him out of New York.
So this brings me to probably the most interesting trade on this entire list, and obviously that's going to include James Harden. This would be shipping him over to the Brooklyn Nets. You'd also be giving up Ben McLemore in this trade idea. The Houston Rockets in return would receive Jared Allen, Spencer Dinwiddie, Renaldis, Kukaris, Karis LeVert, the number 19 pick in the 2020 draft, a 2021 pick swap, and a 2024 first-round pick, along with a 2025 pick swap. I don't want to see James Harden and Brooklyn paired together with KD and Kyrie just because I think that it would be entirely unfair. That team would be able to score so many points that I don't think anybody in the NBA would be able to keep up with them. Points-wise, I don't think anybody would be able to keep up with them. Defensive-wise...
But here's the problem. I was just about to say...
They won't play defense that well because you're losing Jared Allen, you're losing a Spencer Dinwiddie, you're losing a Karis LeVert, and I believe all three of those people are more influential to the team in an overall aspect than a James Harden would be stepping in as your third or second best superstar. Because you already have 2 top-end superstars on that team and then a ton of talent who gives you scoring, defense, playmaking, and different attributes.
But let me ask you this. Where are you getting all of that money from to pay 3 of the top 10 players in the NBA right now?
This would be more of a 1-year we got to win the championship right now, then I think one of them, gets shipped after that. If that's the way this was to plan out and James Harden did end up in Brooklyn, I think it's only a 1-year kind of idea because Kyrie and KD are both free agents in a couple years.
They're all they're all free agents around the same time.
It's either 2021 or 2022. They're all free agency. I'm sorry, I didn't prepare myself in that part of the video.
KD just got there though. He didn't sign. He
signed a 2-year deal.
I thought he signed a 3.
No, he signed a 2-year deal. KD was on a 2-year deal. He's out in 2021.
I still don't think you get enough money. You get slammed with the luxury tax as well. Don't forget about that.
A luxury tax will get you.
And then you won't have money to afford any other people. You'd be going and grabbing people from the G League to play your other positions and fill up your bench.
So, a more reasonable trade that is on this list for the Brooklyn Nets also involves the Philadelphia 76ers. So, the Brooklyn Nets will be giving up Spencer Dinwiddie and in return will receive Josh Richardson, the number 21 overall pick in the 2020 draft, and then the 34 overall pick in the 2020 draft. I think this trade is a lot more reasonable just because Spencer Dinwiddie is going to inquire a larger contract.
He's going to want a max.
I think he's going to be... If this trade was to go down and Philly wasn't to trade with anybody else, that would be a great third person to add to that team. Spencer Dinwiddie is somebody who's a little bit more comfortable being on ball and off ball and brings you a sense of scoring, which the 76ers are missing out on since they lost JJ Redick.
I don't have anything to say.
I mean, Brooklyn doesn't really get anything in return. Josh Richardson's a good player. 21 overall pick in the first round. So. The number 4 overall pick in the second round, not that much. It is what it is at that point. It'd be an interesting trade. Definitely the better trade than getting rid of the entirety of your bench and adding James Harden. The next trade on the list, this one's just a small trade that helps the Celtics get cap space. They would trade the number 26 overall pick in the first round of Wednesday's draft, Enes Kanter, and then Vincent Poirier to the Boston Celtics for Mario Hezonja. Not a big trade, just something small to clear up cap space. Also heard they might be trying Gordon Hayward.
Wait, say that again?
They're just cutting cap space.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Just cutting cap space. Nothing really big. This trade will be a little bit more interesting for the Celtics. This one would be with the Atlanta Hawks. So Boston would be receiving the number 6 overall pick in the 2020 draft, along with Dwayne Dedmon. The Hawks, in return, would receive Marcus Smart, the number 14 overall pick, the number 26 overall pick, and the number 30 overall pick from the Celtics in the 2020 draft.
I don't even know who that
This
benefits.
doesn't make any team better.
It gives the Hawks more defense with Marcus Smart, I guess.
You can add the number 6 overall pick to the Boston Celtics. Does that really help them take that next step into actually winning the East? Probably not. Marcus Smart was a very big contributor in the bubble to their playoff success when they were having success until they lost to Miami. I just don't see the need to trade Marcus Smart.
I don't think so. I think you just keep him right there. You just keep that team together. Just like the Nets. Keep that team together. Why are you trying to... I understand that James Harden is he's not a generational, he's a revolutionary player, right? But this would be different if we were talking about Anthony Davis. If I was talking about Anthony Davis going over to the Nets, they wouldn't need any of those people that we listed off, like Karis LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie. That'd be that's child's play compared to Anthony Davis.
Yeah, but overall, I'd probably rate the list of these 7 trades that the NBA would want to see. I'd probably give this list probably a B.
I give it a C minus.
C minus? Okay, I can understand. It wasn't great. There's a couple things that I enjoyed seeing, like that Pistons trade for the number 2 overall pick, getting rid of that Blake Griffin contract. The James Harden trade was interesting. But the Bucks...
Oh, that's another thing about that contract, too. I mean, that trade with the What was it, the Warriors?
The Warriors with Blake Griffin?
Yes, you got to think. They already have Steph. They have Clay. They have Draymond.
That would be their third person that they could handle the trade.
I'm saying they already have those 3 under maxes.
Somehow, some way, that trade works. Because Andrew Wiggins makes their money. So basically, you'd be trading the Wiggins contract for the Blake Griffin contract, and that's how it would work out.
No one has paid Wiggins as much as Blake Griffin's being paid right now, though.
He gets paid somewhere in the mid to high 20s, and eventually will creep his way into the low 30s for the millions of dollars.
But
By
Blake Griffin, how much is
within,
Blake Griffin getting paid?
I think he gets paid another 35 or 40 this year, and then
Damn, yeah, they got way too much.
Same thing next year, and then it lowers the year after that.
But the Warriors already got hit with the luxury tax already when they got KD, and they had
Blake Griffin puts them over the top.
That puts them way over the top.
So
like, I don't like that's just too much money for me. That's basically what it boils down to. Because at that time Draymond was getting paid a lot, but he wasn't getting paid max money when KD was there, and KD took a pay cut too to come there. So I don't know how that works. They're getting taxed the unholy fuck out of. That's what I do know. And it's unnecessary.
Like I said, I just want to see the Pistons get rid of Blake Griffin. It'd be sweet to have the number 2 overall pick.
Draft James Wiseman. You won't need Blake Griffin.
Maybe.
Not maybe, you won't.
So there was one person who was left off this list that has had a lot of trade rumors floating around, and that's Russell Westbrook. I wanted to see who you thought Russell Westbrook would be a good team to go to.
Nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Because absolutely nowhere. Everyone knows I love Russell Westbrook, but Russ wants to go somewhere where he can be the number 1 again. That's not gonna happen. Unless he finds his way somehow to Detroit when we don't have a number 1.
Please don't trade for Russell Westbrook. I beg you.
I'll buy a jersey. I just
That'd be part of the problem.
What?
You support the Pistons after they make a trade like that by buying a jersey.
Shit.
That's part of the problem.
I wouldn't buy it from them.
Okay, I'll support that. I'll support it.
I would not buy it from them.
Straight to China. Oh, man.
This jersey's authentic. The other ones, they not. I'm just playing. Y'all will never know.
That's all I really had to say. I don't care where Russell Westbrook goes. I don't believe he'll ever do anything to win a championship just because of the style of basketball that he plays. He's way too ball dominant. He cares more about stats than he does about the overall team aspect of basketball. Even when he was paired with great players, he could never help them get over the hump of success. So I don't think he's really going to do anything else.
Which is sad to say. Like, I really want Russell Westbrook to win a championship.
Love Russell Westbrook. Want him to win.
He deserves one. I mean, you can't have that many single season accomplishments and just not have... Well, I mean, Charles Barkley did, but, I mean, it's just...
That's a great comparison. Him and Charles Barkley's careers,
they're
great players.
They're just going to run right parallel, and I hate that.
Plateaued.
Yeah, man, you just...
Never got over the hump.
They have all of the single, like, individual awards that you can have, but those don't get me wrong, those are really, really nice, but at the end of it, and it is a part of your legacy, but there's always that, you got the good side of your legacy, right? And then there's that other side, like, damn, I did all of this, but I still didn't win a championship. And I feel like that's kind of, winning a championship is probably worth more than your stats and like being the you know, like the regular season MVP. You know, that's just me. It's like Giannis. When Giannis won the MVP, he said, "Yeah, I won, but I didn't win a championship,
so it doesn't matter."
That's the mentality that I feel like people should have.
The end goal should always be win a championship.
A championship.
When it comes to the NBA.
If you're not trying to win a championship, then, I mean, you're kind of just, I hate to say it, you're kind of just floating. You're just wasting fucking space.
And that's where the Pistons have been for the past, 10 years. And so make sure you go listen to our old episode on the Pistons drafting.
That's really his episode. I didn't say anything.
But we've covered all the topics that we have for y'all today. And we just want to thank you for joining us here at There's Layers to It. Make sure you go follow us, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video, leave some comments. We'll definitely get back with you. If you're listening on the podcast, make sure you rate us 5 stars, subscribe to our channel for new episodes, and like the episode on your streaming platform, please. But most importantly, share us with your friends.
I'm over here looking for my phone.
We're recording on his phone. But share us with your friends. We are trying to get bigger. If you're interested in getting your product, your job, your channel, something promoted on our podcast, make sure you contact us so we can work out a deal with you. This is There's Layers to It. We're signing off. Thanks for joining us today.